Hello, everyone. This is Ross from Retro Dream Beam. I'm an eBay seller full time. I've been doing this with my fiance Netta for a couple years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to go into what we're shipping out today on Friday. It was like a good quantity of stuff, but still like a lower amount of sales. So I'm hoping it picks up over the weekend. But yeah, I've been listing a bunch of cool stuff. So the first thing right here is going to, you probably can't see it. This is a pack of GHQ Micro Armor. These are like a bunch of different helicopters. I've always gotten like the tanks and the infantry before. I've never seen like the planes or the helicopters or little boats and stuff. So super cool to get these. They are kind of like just bits and pieces of them. I'm not too sure like if they're complete or not, but I did show like a good picture of all of the different bits and pieces they're getting. This sold for $15 plus shipping. Everything's gonna be plus shipping. All right, next up is this WizKids Teen Titan map. So HeroClix is played on these little maps right here. This one's kind of different because some of the little starter sets will come with a smaller map. So this one's a smaller one. It looks like it's a 8x8 right there. Normally these maps, so that's one side, and then here's another side. One's like some jail holding cells, and then the other one is going to be like a little tower, like an office tower. But yeah, normally these maps end up being like, I think they're like 28 by 28 or 26 by 28. Normally they're bigger maps, but people still like to have small little brawls on a little map like this, and they do like to collect all sorts of maps. They never go for too much. Like this one sold for $5, but it's cool that one to repeat buyer, so someone's going to appreciate it. Next up is going to be Warhammer 40k bits and pieces. These are pieces for the Chaos Marines, like the bikers, the people that are on like the little bikes there. So there's a bunch of like wheels, arms, heads, a couple of guns, shoulder pads. So like I said, it's just bits and pieces. This ended up going for $18.74. All right, next up is going to be this game right here. Super interesting packaging. It's like XLR 8 card game. It's by Bicycle. So yeah, I guess they had these kind of like you rip open and you get some kind of like card game. But that's some really interesting packaging. I forgot Bicycle has done that before. But yeah, this ended up selling for $7.42. People like to play these racing games. The other one I'm trying to think is like Millborns. People like that one. That's like a pretty classic. And they've also made modern versions of that type of like a racing across the country type of game. All right, next up is going to be a combo order for L5R. It's been a little bit since I sold L5R stuff. It is kind of super niche. Legend of the Five Rings. It's a samurai card game. They have like a trading card game. They have like a living card game. They have board games. They have miniature games, role playing games. So a bunch of stuff. These are for the trading card game. So there's this particular promo, the False Hoturi right here. So this particular promo, I had another one of him, so I already relisted him. And then this promo pack right here of like 4 or 5 cards. I'm not too sure. The top card says Oni no Okura right there. So yeah, these are little promos. This ended up going for $16.57 for the pair as a combo order. So that's cool. Like when someone likes L5R, they do like the lore and story of it. I'm still looking for like a good source to get like a huge chunk of lore. Like I'm hoping someone eventually I like come across someone that knows where I can like dig into it, because I do think it's like cool to read up on some of this stuff, and I want to see like why people really like the lore. All right, next up is going to be this. These are little terrain pieces. It's about 40 of them. These are from the Warhammer 40k second edition starter set. Super rare. If I had the whole set miniatures, it would be a lot of money. But yeah, these are just the little terrain pieces. They're just like these little like, they're cardboard, but like the thin cardboard. But yeah, someone's still gonna appreciate them. They're all in pretty good shape for like how old they are. Second edition's a long time ago. These end up selling for $37.49. It was just from like bits and pieces I've been getting. All right, next up, this game, I've played the modern version of the game, but I'm going to talk about what I'm actually selling. So this is more Cosmic Encounter by Mayfair Games. So yeah, this Cosmic Encounter game, how it's supposed to play. I played it one time. I didn't like it too much, but I think I played with someone that kind of like cheated the rules, and I'll get into it. So there's a bunch of alien factions in this game, and then I think you have a bunch of ships, and there's a bunch of planets, and you're trying to politically, verbally talk to other people to try to get control of the planets. And I think there's like a certain victory condition. It might be victory points or the first person to get 10 planets after like a full round or something like that. The unique part of this Cosmic Encounter game is you're supposed to be like a lot of different alien races that you have that change basically how you play. That's the fun of it. And I think how you're supposed to play is you shuffle it up and you have a couple of choices. When someone taught me this game, they had a lot of knowledge about the game. They kind of did I'm going to pick the race, this race. You guys can look at the cards as a fair thing and go ahead and pick what you want to pick. So I think they just kind of picked what they thought was going to be the best one to beat a bunch of newbies. And that's what ended up happening. We were all newbies, and then they kind of like stomped all of us with the race that they picked. And I think you're supposed to randomize it. So that's why I kind of had like a sour taste for this game. So I was like, I basically feel like I haven't played the game because I feel like I didn't play it on like a fair playing field. It is supposed to be competitive. It's not competitive if other people don't know what they're doing. But yeah, this is actually 95% complete. It's not 100%, but it's cool. Mayfair Games is known for, I don't know why I took off the rubber band. I'm not going to show it because there's a lot of pieces in there. I want to make sure it stays put. Mayfair is known for doing like Settlers of Catan and stuff. And I think Asmodee eventually, through I think Fantasy Flight Games, has the more modern box art for Cosmic Encounter. There's a bunch of expansions, more aliens and rules to add in to make it wacky. But yeah, it's supposed to be this fun, wacky game where every time you bring it out, everyone's supposed to get like a random alien race. It's basically like rechanging the rules for everyone, and it just kind of it is competitive. But it's just you're supposed to enjoy the journey of the game and not like trying to stomp everyone. All right, that sold for $16.49, but it was a weird story with this one because someone sent us a $10 offer. We countered with 12. They declined the 12 and then accepted the 16. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. That's weird. That usually seems like, okay, that was like someone did like a butt dial, not butt dial, but they accidentally checked out and they end up sending a message like, hey, I want to take the $12 offer. I accidentally declined it. Can you please refund me the $4 when you're shipping out? It's like, oh yeah, totally, we can do that. So that was cool. I almost thought it was like not a sale. All right, sorry, a lot of stories about Cosmic Encounter. I know a lot of people love that game. I just haven't really played it fully. All right, moving along, we have Warhammer 40K Underworlds, which is like a kind of like a small tactical Warhammer game where you're gonna have like a deck of cards. You're gonna have some objectives. You're playing on like I think like a hex gridded map. So these are gonna be tokens, nothing too crazy, but there's about 10 or so of these tokens in here. A lot of them are cardboard, just like any typical board game. And then some of them are acrylic. And the person zoomed in on one of my pictures and they said, hey, are these acrylic? And I looked at my pictures. I was like, oh, yeah, about like 10 of them are acrylic. And then they ended up buying it. So my guess is these were probably the acrylics, usually for board games, are promotional things. You have to go to tournaments. You got to like do something special, maybe get a pre-release. There's like a lot of different ways to get the acrylic tokens. So they probably bought it because of that. I could have, from that message, been a wiener and then been like, okay, well, those acrylic ones are probably good. So I could have delisted the item and then, taken it back from the storage unit, separate it, listed the cardboard and acrylic. But I was like, nah, I was just totally happy with it. I know some other people might do that, but it was cool. They basically taught me something. They probably bought it because they're acrylic and they're probably some kind of like promo. So I just know for the future, this whole bag only ended up selling for $8. So they're probably gonna be super happy for the acrylic pieces. All right, last up is going to be this Transformers. I got a bunch of like bits and pieces for my brother. He already dealt with all like the big stuff. It was just like taking up space in his place for like years, he said. Yeah, this one has like a missing piece on the top there. I think that's the only piece. I wasn't into Transformers as a kid. I was like into Pokemon stuff. This was slightly before my age. I don't even think my older brother was into Transformers and stuff. He ended up getting into like wrestling, just like skateboarding and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, this one ended up going, this is called Skids, G1 Skids Transformer with the one missing piece, ended up selling for $10. So nothing too fancy. Someone's probably has a replacement piece or they're going to use these pieces to fix up theirs. But that was cool that you got to free up some space for him, got to make a little bit of money. Some of them were actually sold for a good amount of money. But yeah, I've only gotten Transformer stuff twice ever since we started eBay. Both they were free because like, yeah, people were just like getting rid of a bunch of stuff. So like, one of them, the first lot I got was really good because it was I think like Beast Wars or something like that. They were like super good. A lot of them were still also incomplete, or I had to pair up all the bits and pieces, which took a lot of time. And then this one was a lot of like G1 stuff. There was some Micro Machine and stuff like that that my brother had that he got from someone else from their childhood. All right, so that's everything. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Hope everyone's gonna have a good weekend.